Hello, and welcome to episode 147 of Flix and a Six. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me, forever and always, the man, the myth, the deduction yeast, Alessandro Bielsi. Say hello, Al.
Henceforth, I wish to be referred to as Dr. Senator.
Okay. on this week's episode, Liam won't stop, Bond will have to wait in the wings with the rest of the DCEU, and The Walking Dead returns. Sort of. All along with other news and nuggets, all before diving into our flick of the week, Enola Holmes. But first, Al, what are we drinking?
Sorry, my computer is trying to it's trying to revolt against me right now, and I'm fighting it.
They will fight back.
Yeah, my printer was trying to update, like the print software trying to update, and I'm just
great timing, bro.
Yeah, I'm not having it right now, and I was like trying to X out like the it says, hey, Epson would like to run, installer would like to run right now. Would you like to update your software? And I click no. Sorry. Instead of clicking OK, I just click the X, and it's like,
sure,
fuck you, we're doing it anyway. And I'm like, no.
You didn't say no.
It's true. But they didn't give me
it's a very no means yes situation. Don't like it.
Well, it's more of a just no isn't an option situation.
Mm-hmm.
Little rapey.
I would say that update's relentless.
Because it doesn't relent. We're drinking Breckenridge Brewery, which is a fine Colorado ale. Mango Mosaic Pale Ale. It is crisp and aromatic.
Aromatic.
It's
all right,
crisp and aromatic.
Laszlo.
Stop monkeying around in my volumes. It's crisp and aromatic with tropical mango nuance.
Really? You're not going to try to say that in a weird way, too?
It's crisp and aromatic with tropical mango nuance.
Welcome to Flix and a Whisk.
Yeah, I usually only break out the terrible accent for Flix and a Whisk.
All right, Mango Mosaic.
Mango Mosaic.
Breckenridge Brewery. Do you think does Jenny work for them?
Jenny must have drank some Mango Mosaic. Jenny. We were so obnoxious, mostly Jay. Anyway, Mosaic hops naturally give off aromas of
that's right. Get it right, would you?
Of guava and mango.
Oh God, here we go with the guava again.
That fucking guava again. Lending a unique sweetness to the hop character of this pale ale. To build upon the tropical attributes, Jesus Christ.
This is fantastic.
Build upon the tropical attributes of the hops. We've added a healthy amount of mango. Mango Mosaic is a well-balanced montage of fruit flavor, fresh aromas, and refreshingly crisp goodness.
I like drinking this on a night out in Manhattan.
Oh,
Manhattan.
Eat mango. Sorry, drink. Sorry, part of this word is torn off of the box. And I don't know what word
this is great. Should we just start over?
I'm trying. No, I'll leave it in.
It's gold, Jerry.
There's a word here that I can't see that start this sentence off.
Okay.
Then it says mango mosaic with sweet and spicy Caribbean-style dishes, blackened shrimp, and lightly seasoned fish.
Caribbean Queen. I'm reminded of Drunk Uncle when he sings that on SNL.
Well, I know we always appreciate getting into what sort of foods to enjoy with beers. So those are
Did you say Swedish fish?
No. I said sweet and spicy Caribbean-style dishes, blackened shrimp, and lightly seasoned fish.
I'm pretty sure you mash all that together, you get Swedish fish. All I did was cut words out. They're all there.
What is this, like one of those serial killer things where you take the words from a newspaper and cut them out?
Make a recipe. We should do that. We should do serial killer recipes as a website. And it would have things like Swedish fish in the recipe. Psycho. This is very, very mango smelling.
Oh, I still haven't sensed the aroma yet. Oh, wow.
It's all mango.
You know what? What did this say? Hang on a second. Tropical mango nuance? There is no nuance to this mango. This is pretty heavy-handed mango.
Yeah, that's heavy. God, why didn't it say that on the box? Heavy-handed mango.
There's no mango nuance here.
Yeah,
Sorry,
not
nuance.
at all. You mentioned guava. Is that so? And that's not. We've had that a lot recently, but they didn't say anything about like that fruit specifically. Is that the mosaic hops?
Actually,
what?
Just the one time, actually.
I thought we had it. No, we had it at least 2 other times.
Well, I mean, like in the history of the show, yes.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking of that one time where it was weird. I called out the guava. You called me out for calling out the guava,
and then you were right.
I was 100% right.
But what is that? Does that flavor come from mosaic hops?
Yes, I believe it said that.
Okay, interesting. So I guess it makes a lot more sense now.
What did it say exactly here?
That's how I understood it when you read it.
It says, if I can read it upside down, mosaic hops naturally give off aromas of guava and mint.
So, what's the word that was ripped off the box?
I have mosaic hops. The first thing I always think of is grapefruit. Grapefruit is usually pretty intensely. The
way that you started saying that sounded like you were going into an infomercial. Grapefruit.
It's the hard sell.
No, yeah. All right, let's give this mango bath a taste. Cheers.
See, I was right. It definitely was guava that time.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of mango. It even has the weird thing that my tongue does when I eat a mango, which I don't know, maybe means I'm allergic to it. Not clear, but it's definitely fizzy.
Is it like, do you get like the Jar Jar Binks thing where your tongue like ceases
my
to
tongue,
work?
My tongue is... Oh man, that's pretty good. It's got a nice bitterness to it.
Yeah, I notice sometimes with these where they are really like fruit forward on like the aroma or whatever, and even on the palate, because this has it. It's not just the aroma; this has it in the taste as well.
Yeah,
that they don't balance the bitterness well with it, because it can just be like the juice bomb without the actual hopping of the IPA. Well, I guess this isn't even an IPA technically; it's a pale ale, but still, like at the margins, they can almost be indecipherable, the differences. So
right. Yeah, it's as if they blended the mango into the beer, pit and all.
pit and pith,
pit and pits. Yeah, tasty though, tasty. I'm about it. I had a couple of other beers earlier today. One of them was very juicy and hazy from Magnify,
nice,
called Ripe and something or other, delicious. And the other one was a brewery that I cannot pronounce, and it was a beer that I also don't remember how to pronounce that starts with a U. You're going to get us there. It was a German. It was under the Oktoberfest stuff.
Okay.
And it was very smoky. Okay. Something with a U and maybe a Z in there. I'm not certain. I'm not certain.
Can you spell either the name of the brewery or the name?
No, I can't, because I didn't take a picture, nor do I remember it.
Sorry, the only thing I can think of right now with a U is like Pilsner or Cool.
It was like you know they sell liquid smoke.
I am familiar with
the beer was liquid smoke.
Okay,
I liked it. Kim did not care for it.
I see. My brother has gone through that whole thing where he was just only drinking German lagers for the longest time, and he bought a bunch of them that were super smoky. And I tried a couple of them. I was like, yeah, I like these better than the 1,500 Pilsners you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about the other day, vis-a-vis your... sorry, I know as soon as I said vis-a-vis, you were going straight to the league. Where are we vis-a-vis tacos? Vis-a-vis our Oktoberfest, which is, next Saturday?
Yeah.
And
coming up quick.
I didn't realize that he didn't actually like any of those smoky lagers. I was like, oh, of course, the few things that you actually gave me that were good in that weird, 6 months of your life where that's all you drank, those
you don't like any of them.
So it's like I'm here for it. We're gonna see if we can rustle some of them up for the Oktoberfest. I actually hadn't planned to bring it up on this show, but now we're in it. It's already been mentioned, so I have good news and bad news about Oktoberfest.
Oh no, you failed?
They're inextricably linked. I did fail, unfortunately.
Oh.
The only day I could go to buy the stuff, the shop was closed early for some reason. And rather than wait till the next weekend and bring you a rushed and incomplete product, I decided to bring no product at all. But for the good news, to my rescue came a first ever canning of Newburgh Kolsch.
Oh,
Is a German beer.
all right.
And so I acquired a case of Newberg Kolsch, and me and Dominic will be supplementing it with other German beers.
That sounds fun. Cool. Here's the question. Do we break into the Jack's Abbeys that have been sitting around, or are we going to stick with strictly German beers?
Well, second to that is I also bought a handful of beers, both from Newberg and other sources, new show beers. New reinforcements have arrived, and at least one of them is a Jack's Abbey, so...
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I think, against all odds, I found the beer that I was talking about. It's from AECHT.
AECHT?
Mm-hmm.
Ached?
Right? That's the first word of the brewery.
Okay.
SCHLENKERLA.
Sorry. This again, but slower.
And that's the alphabet.
All right. Again, but slower?
SCHLENKERLA. Schlenkerla?
Schlenkerla?
Echt Schlenkerla?
Yeah, good luck. That sounds like that Family Guy where they have the Jeopardy and Adam West puts on his Final Jeopardy Cabert Zella, and Trebek reads it out loud, and it's his name backwards. That was the only way to banish him back to the dimension he came from.
Amazing. It's an Urbach.
Oh. So it's some sort of Bach? The thing is, they throw a lot of terms around with Bachs that are kind of superfluous. Like there's Maybach, there's Urbach,
it says
Doppelbock, which is just a double Bach, but whatever.
From Untapped, it says the H. Schlenkerla Urbach is the complex sibling of the classic Marzen smoke beer.
Ah, yes, the classic Marzen.
Exactly like the classic, all its barley malts are smoked over beechwood logs. Its higher smoke malt concentration and longer maturation in the 700-year-old cellars underneath Bramberg create a taste profile of most intense smokiness, beautifully balanced with deep malt sweetness.
You get mad at me for bringing old beer to the show, and you're drinking 700.
A 700-year-old beer. Yeah, it was It tasted like a house on fire. I liked it.
It's like if you've ever had like Lefroy Quarter Cask or the Balvenie Triple Wood, where it tastes like you're inhaling cigar at the same time as taking the shot. It's delightful. It really is.
Yeah. It was very smooth for such a smoky jam. But back to the mango mosaic and its guava notes.
Right.
And it's under
nuance.
It's it's mango nuance. It's what are we giving it thuckle wise?
It's probably 2 thuckles.
2 thuckles? I think I'm gonna go a thuckle.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a beer. It's
fine.
a beer so nice. I'm gonna drink it twice tonight because I had a couple of them left over still, but I just figured I might as well stick with the same palate in that one.
Fair enough.
Final closing note on Oktoberfest and German beers.
Sure.
I did happen to see while I was at Beer World the other day
that sounds like a fake place in a cartoon.
Sure does. It's a chain of stores. There's like 5 or 6 of them in Orange and Ulster County. I saw the Rothaus Tannenzapfel. You remember that? You remember that bad boy?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
We did that on the show.
Yeah.
We tweeted about it. The German brewery in Bavaria tweeted at us to tell us that we got I don't know if it was the pronunciation or the translation of something wrong. So he actually listened to the episode because it wasn't in the show notes or anything. They actually listened to at least the first 10 minutes of that.
Oh, that's great.
Tweet us and tell us we were wrong.
That's awesome. Let's do another one of theirs and see if we can get them. And then maybe let's mention this other beer to them and see if they know how to pronounce that one too.
Or maybe it was the pronunciation. I don't remember. I forget what it was that they corrected us on. Very kindly. Like they weren't mean. Like it was really nice. It was a cool interaction.
That was cool. Do you remember what movie we did with that?
We didn't even tag them because I couldn't find their handle.
That's right. Oh yeah,
and they searched it and found us. Listened to at least, like I said, the first 10 minutes of that episode. Tweeted us to correct us. It was tremendous.
Fantastic. What movie did we do with that? Do you remember?
Oh no, I don't remember. It was sometime last year. It was at least a year ago.
Well, should I get into some news and nuggets?
Yeah, why not?
Well, why not? You want to kick things off?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want a new or a nugget?
I will take one nugget, please.
One nugget? Okay. Let's talk about first impressions of Star Wars Squadrons, which Anthony has betrayed me over.
I did not betray you. I just haven't played it yet.
Just taste of betrayal.
You
Fucking whore.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Is it good? that would be a great segment. Is it good? It's all right. And then we just move on.
Okay, great. Next, moving on. Yes, it is very good. It is so hard. It is incredibly difficult because they truly are giving you full control of these ships.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
right.
it's really, really, really difficult in a good way. Like, it's not frustrating because like the controls are not like understandable or because they don't.
It's just a lot.
You think they're going to do. It's just sensory overload. I have never flown an airplane before, so I am not prepared to fly this space airplane now. With
God,
guns.
I wish that's what we called them.
What's that?
Space airplanes with guns.
Yeah, space
Star
airplanes
Wars.
with guns. The spacecraft. I am not prepared. It is a lot of fun. It is so hard. Because,
oh man, that makes me really excited to play it.
So, like, consider, like, let's go with, like, Star Wars Battlefront 2, right? Like, you have forward, back, whatever, like, left, right. You have a gun, you have a missile, you have, like, a dodge button, right? And, like, that's pretty much it. So the controls of this are incredibly complex. You have on the left stick, we're going to go Xbox controls, so that's what I'm playing it on. Left stick, forward and back, adjusts throttle. It's more throttle or less throttle.
Okay.
You will always be traveling in the direction of the reticle, though you can come by pulling all the way down on the stick, can bring yourself to a full stop in space.
Ooh, cool.
If you press all the way forward, it will go at full speed. But like, it's not, you don't have to hold on to the stick. Whatever you set it to is the speed you'll travel at.
Okay.
Left and right on the stick, though, does not steer you left and right. It does a barrel roll, right or left. Like,
sure.
Not an actual barrel roll. It just rotates the ship.
Yep.
The right stick, left and right, adjusts the reticle left or right, which changes the path in which you're going to fly. And up and down, same thing.
Okay.
Then you have your main lasers. The right trigger, left trigger is to target something. And then from the targeting suite gives you so many options. You can hit a button to have someone on your team attack it. You can cycle through other targets. You can mark them for other things. There's countermeasures to deploy against missiles. There's your own missiles or debuffs or healing or whatever. Like the right bumper and left bumper are your special like things, and they can either be offensive or defensive. The X button allows you to, if you have a ship that has shields, adjust whether those shields are balanced, deflecting in the front or deflecting in the back.
Whoa.
Yes, you can set the level and orientation of your deflector shields. You know, and they say, like Han's yelling, Chewie, set those the deflector shields to like full rear or whatever. Like, you can do that. If you're flying an X-Wing, you can say, I'm getting shot in the ass a lot. Let me put my shields in the back.
Right. I feel like the only thing that could make that better is if they introduced voice commands so that you could tell your droids to do it.
I mean, you probably can with the VR. I don't know. Because you can play this in full VR, which I've heard is ridiculous. I'm terrified of it because
I bet.
As we were talking about with Brian earlier today, Brian is getting super like motion sick from this. I have felt a couple of twinges of it, but it never to the point where I've had to stop playing it because, like,
gotcha.
I had to stop. I never got past the prologue of what the fuck was that game? Oh god, the one with Aidan Gillen, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, and Sean Ashmore, the guy from the X-Men movies.
Yeah, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. I never got past the prologue of that because not even playing the game, walking around made me so violently ill. And
so it's funny that you say that. That game, I'm pretty sure, was a very high performing game. I think it was like a really it was like a 60 frames, like very smooth on a console, like from what I remember, or something along those lines. And I found that I'm actually now. It's funny that you say that because I was just playing Mario 64, the like re-release of it, and I played it for an hour, and I got like very nauseous, and I was like, "What is happening?" And I looked into it, and people were talking about how we've adjusted so much into like the higher frame rate. The lower one it was causing my nausea, and
really?
it's interesting. It's very weird what happens inside of your brain when the screen is doing something like that.
For me, with Quantum Break, because like that game came out like 5 years ago. I think what happened to me was there was so much input lag walking around.
Oh, then maybe it was a jittery frame rate or something.
I'm not sure because like I never noticed any like scratching or breaking of like the picture or anything like that. I just noticed that like I would press right and then he would go right. I would press left. I would press forward. There was so much latency in, and it was just a local game. Like I had it. Like it wasn't like I wasn't like playing it off the cloud. I wasn't streaming the game. Like it was. I had it local, so I don't know why that should have ever been the case. Sure. I just know that it fucked with my head so badly. I had to stop playing the game. I was like, oh, like I'll come back to it another time. I'll just play for half an hour at a time. I never picked it up again. I was so intimidated by it because it made me so ill. Yeah, I haven't gotten that at all with this. And actually, after the first like 2 sessions I played this game on, I haven't even noticed it as much. So I think
all right, that's you're probably just getting used to it. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so anyway, you can adjust. Like I said, going back, you can adjust the deflectors into which direction. You on the D-pad, you have so all Alliance ships have shields. Only the support ship for the TIE fighter for the Imperial have shields. They have buffed up hulls. So with the ones with the Rebel ships on the D-pad, there are 4 possible controls. You can dump the majority of your power to your shields. You can dump the majority of your power to the engines, or you can dump the majority of your power to the lasers, or you can have all 3 of them balanced.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool because in the middle of the fight, you can be like, hey, I'm doing an attack run on a Star Destroyer, and there's a big open space. It can see me coming. Dump it.
Shields up, and then when you get there...
Dump it full shields, and then
That's
second...
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
You can go dump it full shields, attune them to the front to take on the brunt of the onslaught, and then you can go full lasers, strafe it, then dump it to engines, boost out, and then drift, which you can actually cut power on a full-on sprint and flip your ship 180 and then jet back the other way.
That's awesome.
It's so much. It's so much. There's going to be so much repetition in this game to actually get good at it.
To like nail those controls.
Yeah, because the drifting is so badass, and I've only pulled it off like in use like twice because it's so complicated. Because like you have to dump your power to engines, you have to boost, and then you have to cut boost while turning and hold the turn to the full 180, and then cut the boost back again. It's so much.
I don't know if I want to wait. Maybe I'll end up buying this game tonight.
I know. This is why I didn't understand why you resisted it. Because me and Brian are going to talk about it, and you're like, "This is ridiculous. I have to try this." It's only $40.
No, I know.
I have to imagine that they'll let you upgrade when it comes to next gen.
Sure. I mean, but I think the Xbox version. Either way, you could play the old version, so it's not like that's that big of a deal.
Yeah. So I would.
I don't even know. It might not even. I actually, if I remember correctly, and eventually we'll do a Game Bites episode on this. I don't even know if there is going to be a next gen specific version. I was just saying specifically that when I get a Series X, I was thinking because day and date EA Access will be part of that, and I assume that you'll get like however many hours to play the game, just in case people have drifted off and aren't playing it anymore. Because like I know like. I don't know, if you fell out of it, then I don't know who else I would play with.
Which is why I don't know why you don't just get it so you and me can play with right now.
Okay, all right.
Because we haven't actually got to play a game outside of like one match of fucking Warzone.
Oh, and it was glorious.
It was hilarious.
It was so much fun.
It was so bad. I haven't even tried multiplayer yet, and that gets into something that I will get into much more Game Bites with you and Brian when we do it, which I have to imagine we'll probably do that next week or whatever. Like, I feel like we're gonna want to do it pretty fresh, which means you should definitely buy it tonight, and we'll play it tomorrow. But anyway, there is one thing I want to touch on, which I find to be hilarious. I've been curious about this whole thing with the campaign. They've been playing it up. It's interesting. There's a weird dynamic in which when you're outside of the cockpit, it's well, I guess technically it's first person 100% of the time. You don't actually control your character. You are fixed to a point at all times, and you can look around the room and select things, and then like you'll open a door and you'll go through the door.
Or like a point and click adventure type.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Technically, it's a voiceless protagonist. Well, two of them. You play as a pilot in
both armies, right?
Yeah, it was a Vanguard Squadron in the Rebel Alliance, and you play in Titan Squadron on the Imperial side. And you're very deeply tied to the actual storyline. Your character only ever speaks in the cockpit when you're playing, and even then it's predominantly just reacting to stimulus. It's not even really like story stuff. So everyone just talks at you. And some of that is cool. Some of it's interesting. Some of the characters are interesting. Some of the storyline is interesting. A lot of it is kind of heavy-handed. And it took me until I played through the 6th mission, which I was playing right before we got started, to realize that the entire campaign, with all its bells and whistles to keep you kind of interested, and it is interesting, but it's not world-breaking stuff here. The whole campaign is a tutorial. Because the game is so fucking hard.
That's kind of funny.
They are basically telling you at all turns, like, you cannot play multiplayer until you play the actual prologue mission, which you get one mission on the Alliance side.
On either side, yeah.
The Imperial. Oh, technically you start on the Imperial, and then you go over to the Republic side, or the Rebel side. When you finish the prologue missions, because 2 of them, right? It says, "Would you like to join multiplayer? We strongly suggest you stay in the campaign." And it's because you play in a TIE fighter.
You'll learn a lot of more stuff. You play all the other ships.
Yeah, they give you the most basic loadout. They don't let you change it in any way, shape, or form. And then the next several missions, so you start in a TIE fighter, you jump over to the Rebels, you play in an X-Wing. Then you play another mission in an X-Wing. Then you get a mission in an A-Wing. And you learn how to play as an interceptor. And they give you very limited options to swap out some of your components in that. And then after that mission, you jump over the Imperials, you're back in a TIE fighter, then you get to play in a TIE Reaper, which is the support class for the Imperials. Okay. Which is a wildly different experience than playing in an interceptor or like base model. Because technically I couldn't even kill anyone with my ship. They gave me an ion cannon and said, "Go have fun." And so I just kept shooting X-Wings over and over again, and then you mark them and your teammates go kill them for you. And then you like boost them with shields and stuff like such and so on. And then you jump back over to the Alliance side, and they gave me a Y-Wing and let me go on a bombing run over and over and over again in that mission, which was actually really cool. And I'd been looking forward to using the bomber, and it was really badass. And there's a moment in it where you're attacking this huge like listening post, and it has like a trench around the outside, and at a certain, so you're just like, hey, bomb these like shield things and the satellite dishes and this like the main things. It's like, okay, now you have to go on a trench run. I see the trench open. I'm like, oh, okay. But the thing you have to bomb is perpendicular to you on the side, and they're like, remember, bombs only travel downwards, which we've been doing is we've been strafing over things. I was like, oh, I know what to do. And I turned 90 degrees and I'm flying around this disc trench, dropping bombs on this thing while TIE fighters are coming in and out, and I'm getting shot by turrets, and I'm like spinning and also traveling around the arc and dropping bombs, and I'm like, I should be so nauseous right now, and somehow I'm not.
That sounds like so much fun.
It's the adrenaline and fun beating back the nausea. Because that was so ridiculously, stupidly badass. Like, it's so dumb and so fun.
That's awesome.
And then you have to do a mini, like, you get to do a mini Death Star 2 run where the vents open and you have to travel inside of the thing, blow something up, and then escape before the whole thing blows up. Sounds
like a Skyhook.
Yeah, similar.
I Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. All I'm reminded of right now, though, is I used to play. I think you knew about this. But I was playing that tabletop game, that X-wing miniature game for a while.
Yeah.
And like that all I want to do now is like it was so much fun to like build up like the ships that you were going to use for your game, and then like figure out like who's going to pilot it and what your crew's going to look like. It was so much fun. But this sounds like a blast.
They do some pretty good music on this too, but I so badly want to just have the option to flip on anytime I get into a serious dogfight or bombing run.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Well, that makes me excited to pick it up. So I'll probably end up getting that sooner rather than later. Let's talk about delays. You had I know you have some DC ones, and that list popped up recently for me as well. I will say that at this point, so I went to see Tenet, as you know, a few weeks ago. And at this point, I'm pretty sure every single movie that had a trailer and a release date has now been pushed.
Yeah, which is really confusing because, like, we just got, and admittedly, my weeks have been going very quickly for the last 6 months, but, like, I feel like we just got the Batman trailer, and now it's delayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Batman's delayed. We got Bond got delayed till April, and now it sounds like the DC slate except for Wonder Woman.
I think even Wonder Woman.
Even Wonder Woman.
I'm not 100% sure. Let me take a look here. So let's go for this story. This is on Polygon, and it was picked up by basically everyone yesterday.
Yeah.
The Batman will now premiere in 2022. Warner Brothers confirmed on Tuesday. The delay is one of several for WB's sci-fi and DCU tentpoles, as the studio waits out production delays and theater reopenings prolonged by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Batman is now slated for March 4th, 2022. It had been scheduled for October 1st, 2021. The announcement follows Monday's news that Warner Brothers' Dune was moved to the Batman's October 1st, 2021 intended release date from its original December 18th, 2020. They aren't the only ones with adjusted calendars. With adjusted dates. Here's the updated rundown of Warner Brothers' release calendar. Wonder Woman premieres on Christmas Day of 2020 after 2 COVID-related delays. The next Matrix film is scheduled for December 22nd of 2021. I'm not going to read all the previouslys on this because this is insane.
Yeah.
Dune launches October 1st, 2021. The Batman, March 4th, 2022. The Flash, November 4th, 2022. 2 untitled, unannounced, quote, event films premiere June 3rd.
Here we go with the event films.
I know, right? June 3rd and August 5th of 2022. Shazam 2 is moved to June 2nd, 2023. Black Adam doesn't have a launch date.
I wonder if event is like a crossover thing, like an Avengers movie or like a Justice League.
It could be. Or it's about like climbing Mount Everest or something like that.
Sure.
The Minecraft adaptation is likewise postponed indefinitely. Can we just cancel that one? Because why?
Minecraft adaptation? Get out of here.
I don't know. We made a movie about that.
So here's a question then. So like with all these delays,
hang on.
Yeah.
I have an answer for you here. As for the quote event films, those could be any of the undated DC Universe movies from WB's long-term roadmap or something else altogether.
Oh, so no information is what
Correct.
You're telling me. I got it. Thanks for that clarification.
Well, I didn't read the sentence. I just knew that it was going to be giving us an answer, so I figured I'd go with it.
Oh my goodness. So like I don't know. You move. All right. So Dune was supposed to be October this year. It's going to be October next year.
It was supposed to be July or June, and then it was supposed to be October, and now it's next year.
So why? So like the thing that I find interesting is like it gets delayed an entire year. Like I don't really understand that concept. Is it because
I would think they would have put it? I would have thought they'd put it on the slate for the summer of next year.
Right, unless maybe it has something to do with like moving all of the chess pieces is a lot more complicated.
Probably, but none of these were dated for the summer. All like the earliest. That's the earliest one on this slate, October 1st of next year.
Right, but maybe the movies that they planned.
I assume that at this point they're just pushing it. Like they're basically just making a bet that 1 year from today, everything's got to be fine, right?
It should be safe.
We've already pushed it twice,
right.
So why bother pushing it again?
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, no, let's just fucking get out ahead of it, and we've already eaten it this long. Let's just make sure it's actually going to come out the day we can build up our marketing for that time. That's the only thing that makes sense.
It's so funny. So it seems that, I mean, a lot of this is in response to we started opening theaters, we started putting movies out and seeing how they perform, and then deciding that it's probably not worth it right now. Yeah. Is what it seems like. I came across this article that it really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's more so the titling of the article and what you're trying to do. Did it grind your gears? It absolutely did. So this is from Guy Lodge on The Guardian. And it's the title. The title of the article was Tenet didn't just fail to save cinema. It may have killed it for good.
What?
First off, shut up. and that's not just me being like, I am a Christopher Nolan fan. I understand that regardless, you're probably going to look at me as having a bias. But it's not even that. It's this headline is complete trash.
Well, forget about just a flat out like spurious argument or a straw man here. Like this is just flat out like insanity. It's just flat out insanity.
It's completely false.
It's logically incoherent.
And the way that the rest of the article played out, it was more of like it was almost like a forced thesis of this uncovering that he found.
It's like indirect proof where they're trying to prove the thing that can't be proven.
Right. And it's just it was just really stupid, and it bothered me because like it's just not even. It's just trash. There's so much trash, and this really bothered me. I don't know why. Like I'm unnecessarily angry at this for sure.
It's actually transcended clickbait at this point.
Yeah. Which is fair because I ended up reading it, right? Like I did click it,
but like this is beyond.
I clicked it angrily
because like it's not even like wow, like you'll never believe like how bad Tenet did for movie theaters or something like that. It's like it's just total asinine.
Yeah, Tenet killed the movie industry. It's basically the summary of your garbage headline.
And like you get like a picture of like the box art. Like, have you seen that meme of I don't even know what it's from. I probably should know. You ever see that meme of the two astronauts and they're standing on like the moon, and the one of them is staring off into the distance at something, and the other one's standing behind them with the gun, and they're like, the first one's like, wait, so you're saying that blank is real, or whatever? And the guy with the gun goes, "It always was. This is about to shoot." And I'm just picturing that being on the headline of this stupid fucking article.
Garbage.
The box art for fucking, or like the poster or whatever for Tenet being on the guy behind him with the gun.
So is
like a logo for like AMC on the first one.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You set him up, I'll knock him down. Speaking of AMC, The Walking Dead had
AMC.
I know, but The Walking Dead came back for its episode.
I love how we're not going to finish the thought on the...
on the garbage headline? No, we're not going to give that any more attention.
Guys, what is that? No, let's give us one more minute.
Okay.
What does that mean? This movie killed the box office. It's a pandemic. The pandemic killed it.
Yeah, and then he goes into this thing of like, I mean, based on X, Y, and Z, it's possible that it would have been as bad anyway. And it's like, no, just no. Honestly, the fact that it made as much as it did in itself is actually pretty impressive.
Pick out your top 10 favorite movies of all time. The best movies. The objectively best movies. Like,
yeah.
A love child of, like, whatever Hitchcock movie, whatever, like, Godfather, original Star Wars, fucking Shawshank Redemption. Pick all the best movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
Combine and distill down all of the best qualities of it and make an 11 out of 10 movie. It still isn't going to fucking save the box office, you jackass.
Yeah.
Jackass.
Oh, man.
I'm done. We're done. I'm sorry.
We'll recover. Hopefully his career will not. Moving on. Well, to AMC, television's AMC, and a love-hate relationship. So The Walking Dead, I see new episode of The Walking Dead, and I was like, huh, interesting. I didn't realize that was coming back. Cool.
Well, considering they technically never finished the last season.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Is this finally the finale?
It's the finale. That's all it is, and it's over. That's It was the finale of the 10th season. It came back just for that, and it was to lead in the next spin-off series.
Yeah, the World Beyond or whatever.
Right? Which means that this thing has been, like, the only reason they delayed it was so that they could have people in front of the television now to watch that show.
Well, it makes sense because I think the delay in production, so they lied to us. So the delay in production actually had to do with finishing The World Beyond.
100%. 100%.
They lied to us and told us the finale was not done.
Absolutely. That is 100% what happened. And
AMC lied to us
about
a Walking Dead property?
So I was looking into it because I was like, when I watched it, I was like, that felt like a season finale, not a season premiere. And then because I was kind of out of tune, right? And then I went and I read up on it, and I saw this, and I was like, amazing. And then it was like, The Walking Dead will return for its 11th and final season. I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to do one more. And it's like, it spans 2 years and it's 24 episodes. That's 2 seasons, guys. That's
by my math, that seems to be 2 seasons.
What are you doing? And then it's like Daryl and Carol are going to get a spin-off series. I was like, okay, so I guess they're fine. Thanks for the heads up.
It's funny, now this makes more sense to me because I haven't watched now. I don't even know if I watched any of the last season. I think my parents are still up on it. I don't think my brother is even watching anymore. I think he's just reading the synopsis every week.
Okay.
My sister hasn't watched for a few years. This makes sense because on Sunday, when I turned on the TV, I was watching the Sunday night football game, and we had like the stuff recording, and I saw on the guide on AMC, like, oh, Walking Dead. I was like, oh, wow, that's back. Okay. Because I'd seen the ads. They were promoting the crap out of World Beyond starting up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I clicked on like the guide and like looked at the episode. It was like beta launches like the final war between the whatever, or the final battle in the war between like the Whisperers and everyone else. And I'm like, that's a weird way to start a season.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was all I thought about it. And now you're saying it's like, oh, duh, they were already like fully in the heat of the war during the end of the last season.
100%.
Duh, that's the fucking season finale.
Yeah, and like in hindsight, like we're so stupid. Just the idea that they shot and finished everything but the last episode of a season is asinine.
Well, what's it called actually did get cut off. I don't think it was dead in the middle or dead with one episode left, but there was a couple of episodes left. Speaking of, I think The Walking Dead is on a commercial right now in front of me.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm watching the Yankee playoff game, so... Billions never finished its last season that was running, so I don't even know when they're doing that. I just saw something, a note on the internet the other day saying something about season 6 of Billions. I was like, first of all, I would love to know about season 6 of Billions, but can we finish the 5th one first? Because we didn't.
Because we didn't. Oh my god. Anyway, that really, I just found that hysterical.
Oh, by the way, what was just ridiculous to me here is, so technically was a start of a season of The Walking Dead, which was actually the finishing of the season before, and we will not be continuing that until they get around to whenever that's coming out, right? They typically used to start them in October. They started The World Beyond, right? I just saw a commercial that said next week Fear the Walking Dead returns. How the fuck?
Well, that's weird. Well, I guess they're not confident in the traction, so they put it on right after the other one, right? Is that how they're going to do this?
I don't know.
They're so funny.
Well, the thing is, I could actually understand if the idea was we're going to flood the market with Walking Dead, we're going to create this connected universe thing. Okay, I don't buy it because the writing has been so goddamn terrible for forever, but like, let's just observe like the principle and see whether it could work. I'm just going to assume there's a world in which all 3 of those shows are good, right? We're going to presuppose that they're all good and that I enjoy them all. I don't want those 3 separate storylines going on at on the same night. Like, it's not a soap opera. I don't want all of them going on at the same time. Give me from like September to November, Walking Dead. Take off December, let's say. Go January to March, Fear the Walking Dead, and then give me like The World Beyond from May to August or whatever.
Yeah.
Or May to July. Like, you'll get 1 month
and then
off.
And then you have 1 year of like a full year of Walking Dead.
Yeah, like you'll just keep cycling. Like that makes sense to me, you know?
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, the idea, the concept of the Fear the Walking Dead makes sense, and I feel like it could have been good. It just didn't land for me. Like, I never got into it. We watched like a season or a season and a half, and I never found the characters good enough, in my opinion.
It didn't get good until halfway through the second season.
Which is honestly, it's not really fair to expect me to stay on board.
No, I'm not saying it is.
Oh no. But my point is though, like I'm actually curious. Like I kind of want to give this other one. I'm gonna give this other one a watch just to see what's up. But
I haven't watched Fear the Walking Dead since the end of season 3.
The
biggest, which is a shame because like season 3 was actually legitimately quite good, and it was a long gap I think till season 4, and I just didn't pick it up. Like I had the DVR the episode, just never picked it up.
Yeah, I will say that they have a better chance of those being good shows because I think the best thing about The Walking Dead, the original series, was when it wasn't trying to be the comic, and like now they've gotten so much like when they intertwine it because they're like afraid to leave certain things out, but they've already changed it so much that it's never going to be quite the same. Whereas I feel like they'd have a better opportunity, they'd have a better chance of telling a compelling story if they just wrote the whole story.
They'd have a better chance of telling a compelling story if they just wrote.
Nah, nice.
Well, I was talking about with my parents the other day because like they still watch it. Like at this point, you might as well just watch the final season of Fear Them, right? Like I do understand. Mm-hmm. Like I finally ripped the Band-Aid off just long enough ago, where it's like I don't feel a need to come back to it for the final. Like,
yeah,
I'll just when it's all said and done, I'll just read about the end, just to see what all happened. Because I don't like even the characters that I became attached to. I don't care anymore because the show isn't good. It's not good.
Yeah,
and like, oh god, it parallels my frustration with like the Jets right now. And I know you're not a football fan, but like the two of them are going through the exact same thing right now. They're both bad. And what's worse is that like the people who want them to be good, like the people who used to like them, who don't right now, are giving them the answers and they're not doing it. All we have been screaming for years now on The Walking Dead is please just write better. Like just write better. Because the writing on the show was very strong for the first 2 or 3 seasons. It was when Frank Darabont was there. Surprise, surprise. Since he has left, the writing has slowly and now quickly deteriorated to a point where it's unwatchable. Same thing with the Jets. Not exactly the same. It's not the writing, but there are like schematic issues. Like the team isn't very good. There aren't an abundance of good players, but there's enough players where they could be a competitive team. They are the worst team in football. There's no reason to be. Everyone who knows a thing about football is giving the head coach the answers as to what they need to do to be competitive. And he's actively not doing those things. And it's now going on a year and a half. Like, you get a couple of weeks where you're allowed to do that.
Right.
But now you're just being a stubborn fucking asshole. And it's the same thing with that show. Hey, we're going to make the biggest like Walker battle in the world. Okay, cool. Great. We're going to give you an even bigger one. Okay, but like between those 2 bigger battles, like those 3 episodes really sucked. Could you try taking like, let's say $1 million from that battle? Could you just write better?
You know what's funny?
No, we're going to give you another bigger battle, and this time factions.
You're 100% right. And what's funny is what kept me around was the community aspect of it when I liked Talking Dead. And now that that's off the table for me,
yes.
I'm the only reason why I'm watching it is like watching a train wreck.
Yeah, but that only satisfied me for so long. I got bored of that too.
Oh, sure, but I'm also not watching it with commercials, and I'm watching it.
You know what? I can fast forward
over dinner and like stuff like that.
I can fast forward those, and I just don't care. Like it is so bad that I have better background things to watch.
Sure.
Like there's things I'd rather watch in the background. So it's just so poorly written. It's infuriating to me.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing that I've gone through with the Jets with that show. I was irritated. I was really annoyed. I got like screaming mad for a while, and then I stopped caring. And that's the only sin that anyone who's in entertainment can do. People will love you. People will hate you. The one thing you can't afford from your audience is apathy. And that's what I reached with Walking Dead, which is why I stopped watching it. It's what I've reached with the Jets. It's why I bought NFL Sunday Ticket, because I'm going to stop watching the Jets this season. I won't watch another game until they fire their head coach, because it literally cannot get better as long as he is employed. It can't. There is not even 1% of hope that it can be better until it is someone else making the decision. And it's the same thing with The Walking Dead. They have tried changing. They've changed showrunners 8 times, right? It doesn't matter.
Get Kimball out of there.
Well, I guess he's been around or whatever, but like the show is so bad now.
Yeah.
And all we've asked for is give us compelling characters, give us compelling storylines. And they refuse to. They took the good characters and they're not even interesting anymore. I don't give a shit about Daryl anymore.
Yep.
I don't give a shit about Daryl.
It's become redundant. Oh my god. Yeah, it's tough. And now you're telling me you're making a spinoff.
And they're gonna make a spinoff. You know what?
Woo!
The actors are great. We don't care. We don't care about the characters anymore. They're not interesting anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know what's funny with Carol is when she became like the badass and she like no longer had any fucks to give, it was awesome.
Yes.
And then they held on to it a little too long. And then they went into a route of her being like broken, but they didn't really transition that well. And
the problem was they went into her being broken, which I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. But like, they didn't sell me on her being broken. It's just she's broken now. She's broken now,
yeah. And that was like 3 seasons ago, and she's still there.
like if you know, and like if she's an able enough performer to sell broken,
right?
If you gave her some material.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. There is a lot of talent on the show, so it is so clearly the writing.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent because in some of the cases we've seen it seasons ago, right? In some of them, it's like, oh, like that's an actor or actress who's been in other things. I know they're an able enough performer,
right?
And what? Like they seem bored on screen, so why I'm not going to be bored sitting on my couch?
That's right. Oh man. What a disaster.
It's funny because you can look back at some of these people who are leaving the show and it's like, oh wow, like why are they leaving the gravy train? Or why don't they want to be involved with this? They're bored too! They're bored!
Yeah.
Like they are rats fleeing a sinking ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which isn't to call those people rats, just like to use the metaphor. Like, oh god, this is bad now.
Yeah.
Even we can't exist here anymore. Time to find the next thing. Like, what's her name? Like Lauren Cohen totally understood why she jumped ship. I don't know why you pick a fucking ABC sitcom drama.
Oh, but I was blown away. So she returns.
Yeah, I heard she was going to. I didn't know if she actually made it on screen.
Yeah, she came back in the final episode. And I was like, oh, I thought there was something more to you leaving, though.
The final episode that was just aired this Sunday.
That's right.
That was the start of
the final premiere.
It isn't the start, but the end of the last thing. It is not actually the start.
Lord of the Rings season.
No, this is Lord of the Rings ending if you put it down between them leaving Minas Tirith and returning to the Shire and didn't come back to it for 6 months and then started reading.
That's right. Amazing. Let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. This came from Screen Rant, and it's a report on a quote from Ryan Reynolds that he jokes that Taika Waititi's performance as the villain in Free Guy is so funny that his outtakes could be released as their own movie. And I don't even know. I didn't even remember that he's going to be the villain in this movie.
Hey, hang on. Didn't remember. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Oh, really? Okay. I feel like I have heard about it in the past.
He's not in the trailer.
No. Or there's a new trailer out, though. I didn't see it.
I saw that there was a new trailer, which was what reminded me that was a movie that existed that never came out. And that movie is so weird. Like, Like, no. Well, 2 things. 1, the movie itself. 2, just its existence.
Yep.
Because I didn't know that movie was going to exist. Trailer just showed up in my lap, and I was like, oh, wow, that looks ridiculous. Kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Probably way too cheesy. But
100%.
Like, it could be a good time. Like, it could be a good bad movie. It looks like it could be a good bad movie.
Absolutely.
And
it looks like it could be like fun but almost like the Lego movie. Like that kind of fun.
Yeah. Then
less family oriented.
Then the pandemic hit, and I totally scrubbed that movie's existence from my brain. And it's like ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Didn't know it existed, forgot it existed, and now like it's just back again. And I'll find out Taika Waititi's the bag. So when? Why
isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's like a couple of. Is it a couple of weeks? A couple of months? Let's find out. Free Guy. December 11th, 2020.
Well, I mean, that's definitely the type of movie that they could just go direct to video on, probably.
I would assume so. Who knows? I have to watch that second trailer, though. But just the idea. I've watched some Taika Waititi outtakes, and boy, oh boy, are they fantastic. So the notion of just like a compilation of all of his outtakes is definitely something that I would watch. Regardless of context. It could be from across all of the movies. He just cracks me up. Give me a new or a nugget.
I gave you I shot my shot on the news. So I had two nuggets / notes, however you wish to name them. So the other one I have is first impressions on new season of Fargo. I forgot how long it was since the last season of Fargo aired. It was
how long?
2.5 years ago or something like that.
Damn. Okay.
Well, because there was an initial like, hey, yeah, we don't really know what we're doing for the next season. Like, we're going to whenever we figure it out. Which, you know what?
Respect.
Take your time.
Yeah.
And then pandemic aided 6 months delay on top of that.
Sure.
So we're back. There's been 3 episodes. I only
a dinosaur story
for first one. What? We're back. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Sorry.
I only saw the first episode of the 3 that are available because Squadrons has been taking up all of my free time.
Nice.
And it's just delightful to have that show back. It's so ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I know you've always been singing its praises. I haven't gotten to it, but lately I feel like I've been making a lot of progress on back catalog. I'm into season 6 of Dexter.
Nice. Colin Hanks is pretty solid. Edward James Olmos, pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Most Def.
Great.
Yeah. Actually, surprisingly great.
Yeah, I never knew him like in something, and I was like, Kim and I were watching it, and I was like, I paused it and turned to her. I was like, why isn't he in more?
Well, the only thing I've ever seen him in is The Italian Job and like a cameo in fucking Talladega Nights. So,
sure.
This is the only time they actually gave him something to work with, and I was like, oh wow, he's pretty good.
He was fantastic.
Yes. Oh, so you're far.
Yeah, that's how the last episode ended.
Oh.
Well, it ended with him walking into his shop, and it was like, oh, man. Also, like, in a previous scene, he said something that was very much a goodbye.
It's one of those things like when you're in a horror movie where it's like, I'll check and see what that was. I'll be
No, it was like something like, it's been great. Like, this has been great. We should do it again sometime. And then it was like a long pause, and the camera tightened on him. And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's it for you. And boy, oh boy, was I right.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot they end an episode. But yeah, sorry. Back to you got into The Boys, which like totally like surprised me. I don't even know when. Like, did you finish the first season? Did you already started the second? Did you pass?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. They're long episodes. With a show like that, when the episodes are long, I tend to watch one at a time. Though I will say Dexter has been one of those ones that I've been putting on like. We put it on at dinner, and it's like, we'll watch one more. And then, like, 3 later, we're like, man, we cruised through half a season tonight.
Dexter is perfect in, like, 2 or 3 episode blocks.
Yeah.
Well, I am a little bit, upset that I've fallen, like, it blew past me. The Boys, I think the final episode of the second season is coming out, like, this Friday. And I haven't got a chance to start the second season yet. I really had wanted to get to Fargo first, though, since it was out. And
sure.
So... that show is a great time. It's so dark and so funny at the same time.
Fargo.
Yeah. I honestly get cracked up by the names in that show. Like the names are their own source of hilarity of themselves. That's where the aforementioned Dr. Senator was for. He plays Chris Rock's right-hand man. He is neither a doctor nor a senator.
Perfect. I was hoping you'd say that.
And there's so many things like that in this stupid, ridiculous show. There are so many great names. Like David Thewlis is incredibly creepy. V.M. Varga. There's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Nikki Swango. There's Billy Bob Thornton's Lauren Malvo. There's so many great names in the show.
Was he in the movie?
No, he is in the first season of the show.
Okay.
It's predominantly him and Martin Freeman together, but
I love Martin Freeman.
Yeah, he's good in this. He's doing like the big time. Like if you've seen the movie, he's basically playing like the spiritual successor to the William H. Macy character from the movie.
I haven't seen it. That sounds like something that we should do.
I would. I don't quite have the regard for the movie that so many people have. It's a good movie, but it's not.
I feel like I'm going to be in the same boat, but we'll find out.
But the thing is, I love the show. I think the show is incredible. And they have a great cast every season. Like the main cast is always great, and then on top of that, there's a million cameos or bit parts that are great too. Like first season is Billy Bob, it's Martin Freeman, it's Oliver Platt, it's
love Oliver Platt,
Colin Hanks.
He cracks me up a lot.
Alison Tolman, Keith Carradine, both Dexter alums, weirdly. Not Alison Tolman, Keith Carradine and Colin Hanks. And I think there's what's his name from Always Sunny is in it for a couple of episodes. The guy who plays Dennis, I'm totally blanking in real life. I didn't even recognize him.
Oh yeah, I can't think of his real name.
And there was other people in that season too. Second season was oh god, there's a million. Like Bokeem Woodbine and like a whole bunch of there's a ton of like secondary tier like TV movie actors who like all do a great. The guy from Burn Notice, the one who was like the guy whose name totally blank. He was the douchebag in Hitch. I don't remember his name, but I feel like he had a funny name too. The third season was Ewan McGregor, who is always great, always underrated. He plays twin brothers in the show. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Like I said, David Thewlis, that guy who's been in a bunch of shit the last few years, everyone loves. He's always like, he's a classic that guy. I think he was like, he may have even won the that guy competition on The Ringer, which was just an article and then ended up being a competition about, the people who are in movies and TV shows who you're like, oh, I know that guy, but you never remember their name.
100%.
He was in the final four, I think, of the that guy competition. If he didn't end up winning it.
That's so good.
Which is perfect because I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I also forgot, was it Patrick Wilson was in the second season, Ted Danson, Carrie Coon, a couple other people. It's great writing. It's totally ridiculous. The first 10 minutes of this, maybe even 15 minutes, was a history of a totally fictional series of gang wars in Kansas City from 1910 to 1950 or something like that, in which like it starts with like this Jewish like mafia, and the whole thing like keeps going through like the Irish rolled in and they had this blood pact and they swap sons of the two leaders, and one of the sons betrays the group, and it's like the Irish win, they roll through the Jews, and like they bring back the son. Oh no, sorry, they let the Jewish son, I think, like replace the Irish son, and he kills them. They're both like 8 years old. It was really dark. And then the Italians roll in, and then they swap the sons again, and then the Italians roll through the Irish, and then this black mafia comes in. And that's how the season starts in earnest, with Chris Rock as the head of this crime syndicate that's going to join up with the Italians.
Okay.
And, they swap sons, of course. And it's got a great cast again, as always. Chris Rock, Ben Schwartzman, Ben Whishaw. Timothy Olyphant shows up in either the second or third episode, I think. I didn't see him yet. He's got another great name, too. It's Dick Deffy Wickware. And there's a couple of other people I don't think who have been, like, at least that I haven't seen yet, who are famous. Like, there's a couple of people who's like, oh, they're actually, like, some classic that guys who's like, oh, I know that person, or that person looks familiar. It's just a good time. Even no matter how dark it gets, there's always something hilarious that happens as well. It's just
right.
There's always something totally ridiculous, like someone gets assassinated by a fucking cap gun accidentally, I think.
Oh my god.
Just, like, how do these things happen?
That's ridiculous. Before you get to your final nugget, I think you had one more nugget.
No, that's all my nuggets.
That's all your nuggets? I have one more nugget, and that is one of the other movies. Actually, I think I lied, because I think I said all of the movies that I saw a trailer for had been pushed, and I don't think this one has. There was this trailer when we saw Tenet for Honest Thief. Have you heard of this?
No, I don't think so.
It's a Liam Neeson joint. And it's it's just this. It looks like painfully redundant. Like it's just like it's all of his recent action flicks, just pushed together, like not even thought about. It seems that they're just pushed in together.
I love how everything he's done for the last 12 years or whatever, because I think Taken was in 2008. Everything that's been done for the last 12 years is just people call them like the Taken black.
The Takens.
This Taken
on a train, taken on a plane, taken. Yeah. Yeah. Taken as a thief is this one. Like, he's not necessarily a good guy in this one, but he's doing good guy things, and I guess we're supposed to root for him. It's not clear. He was a thief, but he's out of that life, but he's coming back in because he's got to fix something.
One last job situation?
I'm not really sure. It's something like that.
I think the only thing I can think of...
Not a one last job so much as like he was trying to get out, and they brought him back in. Got him.
I think the only thing that he's done the last several years that wasn't a variation of Taken was Widows.
I never actually got to see that one.
And like, he is not a main character. He does not have a ton of screen time.
Sure.
But like, he is in the movie. It's not like a cameo or like one appearance. Like, he's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one that like he doesn't go off and do ridiculous Taken type things. And
taken things. That's the only one where he's not taking things.
Unless we're going to consider like the Seth MacFarlane movies, like Ted. Well, I guess Ted 2 technically, or A Million Ways to Die in the West. Like those.
Taken the Western, Taken with Wolves.
Taken with Wolves. Like, I don't count those, obviously.
Sure. With the news and nuggets out of the way, do you think it's time for some fun and games?
Yes, of course.
All right. I've got one that is right on target for today. Which fictional detective are you?
It's actually pretty great that we're talking about Star Wars Squadrons and you're going to throw in a stay on target.
100%.
What am I?
Which fictional detective are you?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I think we got like a 23 question jam here. Let's double check real quick. Yeah, we got 24. Sorry.
How many fictional detectives could there possibly be in the roster of this question?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm curious to see what they all are. Wait, you had like all the options?
I do have the list. I also I ran through it to make sure that like there's something fun at the end, and it not only tells you your result, but it says the percentage that which you were the other ones.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually the most in-depth quiz that we've ever taken.
I'm intrigued.
Which crime would you prefer to investigate? A member of the upper class was killed by one of their relatives in a closed room setting.
Is that Benoit Blanc?
Somebody got killed at the amusement park. If I can't solve the crime, at least I can ride some roller coasters. Am I right?
Wow.
Something bizarre that'll make a good puzzle. Something that'll make a good story afterwards so I can write about it. Something I can solve from my chair. I don't feel like running around after suspects. Whatever the job calls for, I'm probably up for it.
Let's go with that one.
Okay. How do you feel about murders? Sorry, about murderers.
Also bad.
They can be artists. At least they prevent boredom. I don't approve of murder. I can appreciate cleverness in a crime, but the culprit should definitely be brought to justice. They're wicked and deserve to be executed. Hooray for the death penalty.
Wow. Let's go with the one about cleverness, I guess. I'm trying to figure out through these questions like who the options are. So I have to imagine Benoit Blanc has to be one of them. Sherlock Holmes has to be one of them. I'm guessing maybe one of these will be what's his name from Seven? I don't remember the name of the character. The Morgan Freeman character from Seven.
Probably. We'll find out. Do you drink? Yes, a lot. I'm a social drinker. Just an occasional glass of wine. I prefer to smoke. No, I'd rather use other substances.
Wow.
Who needs that when you can have chocolate?
Oh. I guess let's go with the drinking a lot one.
Yes, a lot? Okay.
Yeah.
What is your preferred method? Pure rational logic, it's all about science. Psychology, it's all about the person. I believe in a mixture of both. I just look at the clues and wing it.
I believe in a mixture of both.
How do you feel about people in general? They're interesting to observe. They're mostly foolish and wicked, but I do try to be polite and kind to them. Unintelligent and boring. They're intimidating and confusing. I'd rather not deal with them on a social basis. Or shrug.
Well, this year has proven to be that the one about the wicked and foolish, but I do try to be nice to them.
Okay. Your love life. Not interesting. Not interesting. Every questionnaire seems to bring this up. Not interesting at the moment. I'm in a relationship. I'm looking for dates. I'd really have to have an emotional attachment to someone before I considered sleeping with them. I prefer sex without emotional attachment. You mean like kissing another person? Ew, they could be diseased.
Well, I guess that technically applies to the pandemic as well. But
nice.
But what was the first option?
No, not interested at the moment.
Sorry. Can you read me the rest of the options?
I'm looking for dates. Is that the one you're looking for?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Would you carry a weapon when investigating? Yes, I'd kill in self-defense if I had to. Maybe, but I don't know if I could use it. No, I prefer not to get into physical altercations with suspects. No, but the police are hiding behind that door and they're armed.
Wow. I guess the first one, the one about using it to defend yourself.
Okay. How do you get around? I use city transport. I take a stroll. My car. Anything but an airplane or a boat. I get sick on those. Whatever gets me from point A to B. I can't drive, so I get someone else to drive me around.
Whatever gets me to point A to B.
I like that. Do you have a hobby? Gardening, chess, playing an instrument, writing, trolling people, knitting.
I guess writing.
Okay. My best friend complains that I need to know more about pop culture, get them into too many crazy situations, am too dependent on them, am too unemotional, drink too much. They don't complain about me. We're all good.
Let's go with that one.
Okay. A criminal might underestimate you and dismiss you as sweet and harmless, goofy, nobody important, an empty braggart, a crazy weirdo, brawn without brains.
Oh, wow. I'm going to say nobody important.
Okay. How did you get so smart? I was born brilliant. It's just my good memory. It has nothing to do with IQ. Intelligence is just the result of hard work. My OCD makes me pay attention to details. I'm not really smart. I just notice obvious things everyone else seems to overlook for some reason. I just know a lot about my field because it's my obsession.
The one about my memory. Also, again, what about noticing obvious things? Is that, again, Benoit Blanc? I'm pretty sure that's Benoit
Probably.
Blanc. Also, I'm forgetting Hercule Poirot. He's got to be in here, too.
Yeah. How do you deal with death? Make jokes so I don't have to deal with it. Bottle it up. Focus on catching the one responsible. Have a meltdown. It's sad, but life goes on. Death is just a fact.
There's one. It was the one about like finding who did it or whatever.
Okay. Focus on catching the one responsible.
Yes, that one.
You prefer to keep the suspects talking and they'll give themselves away. Focus on the forensics. Observe details about the suspect with the that will incriminate them.
Sorry, I thought there was more options. Let's go with the keep them talking one.
Okay. Would you prefer to examine the corpse yourself? Yes, that's the most important part. Yes, there might be a clue. No, I'll take the doctor's word for it.
The one about yes, there might be an important clue.
Are you religious? No, I only believe in what I can prove empirically. I'm agnostic / open-minded. Yes, I'm an observant blank.
That one.
You prefer to read a suspect, read a corpse.
Suspect.
What's your clothing style? Neat but practical? Very uniform and specific? Tending towards dandyish? Trench coat? Whatever as long as it's comfortable.
The neat but practical.
Could you physically fight an attacker? Yes, and I'd probably win. I could give it a try. I'd probably lose.
Probably win.
People think I'm dangerous, geeky, obnoxious, a gossip, antisocial, a loser.
Wow. Dangerous.
Sorry, would you pick the internet cut out for a second?
Oh, sorry. Dangerous.
Okay. You'd prefer to solve crime in the countryside, a small town, the city streets, a lab, my armchair, wherever the job takes me.
Wherever the job takes me.
Your biggest weakness is noisiness, fear, pride, laziness, being a jerk, inability to take life seriously.
Laziness.
You have a hearing problem. have a short attention span, have Asperger's traits, are out of shape, have OCD. None.
Currently, I'm a little bit out of shape.
What sort of person is more irritating? Someone who won't take anything seriously? Someone with no sense of humor? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes. I'm going to go with no sense of humor.
Yeah, I think I would take that too. All right, we're going to submit the answers. All right, you got Philip Marlowe. Philip Marlowe is a fictional character created by Raymond Chandler. Underneath the wisecracking, hard-drinking, tough private eye, Marlowe is quietly contemplative and philosophical and enjoys chess and poetry. While he is not afraid to risk physical harm, he does not dish out violence merely to settle scores. Who is this? Who is this character?
Sorry, I've been dying over here.
Sorry. Didn't mean to just gloss over the fact that you're choking to death.
No, well, I muted the microphone so it didn't just... me choking on water wasn't going to affect the quality of the incredibly polished podcast that we're doing currently.
Sure.
Sorry, I was just trying to find out who this was, because I have no idea who this is. He's an American mystery series that aired on HBO from 1983 to 1986.
Interesting.
The name sounded vaguely familiar, but I don't actually know who this is.
So, you were a 93% match for Philip Marlowe.
Wow.
Your runner-up was Columbo. And a tight third was Jessica Fletcher.
Oh, wow.
Which is just fantastic.
So I'm every stereotypical private eye from the 1970s to 1980s.
That's right. And now going down the rest of the list in order. Miss Marple. Sean Spencer.
I don't know who that is.
Hercule Poirot.
Nice.
Sherlock Holmes. Gil Grissom.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Adrian Monk.
Oh, okay.
Bones Brennan.
Emily Deschanel?
Bassinger?
Yeah.
Basinger?
No, what happened was I realized it wasn't Zoe, but I blanked on her first name for a second. Sorry, I was still looking up Philip Marlowe. So Powers Booth was Philip Marlowe.
Okay.
He was a private eye who pursued criminals through the smog-shrouded streets of Los Angeles in the 1930s, based on the stories by Raymond Chandler.
Well, all right then. Well, we know who you are. And with that, let us get into our flick of the week. Enola Holmes, released in 2020 on Netflix. Here's your IMDb synopsis. When Enola Holmes, Sherlock's teen sister, discovers her mother missing, she sets off to find her, becoming a super sleuth in her own right, as she outwits her famous brother and unravels a dangerous conspiracy around a mysterious young lord. Yeah, that's it though. That's it. The movie's not very deep. We'll get into it. But first, Al, I want to hear your tweet length review, if you'd be so kind.
Okay. Although you already know it. It's fine, fun, light, a bit twee. 6.5 out of 10.
Okay, it's generous. I have the one thing that kept me from nodding off were the charming winks and nods to the audience. 5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
I was a little bit sour on it. I was very unengaged watching the movie.
Really?
Yeah, it just wasn't doing it for me. And
I mean, it's definitely not great.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, but
so I have it here. Like it's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's not a particularly good movie.
No, I mean, I would have raised the grade. I did raise the grade slightly because like they do some like fun, clever little things with like presentation, and it is a technically well-made movie. Like it's presented well, and I thought the performances were fine. Well, specifically, like this movie has to be carried on the back of Millie Bobby Brown, mm-hmm. and I thought she was game. So
sure, yeah, I thought she was great. She was the saving grace of the movie. I feel like without her, like, I don't know if anybody else was in it and maybe like wasn't as compelling as she was, I might have actually bailed.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like, there is a very hard cap on how good this movie could be.
Sure, yeah.
There isn't a lot there, but I think they basically met that cap.
Yeah, I would say like they just barely, because I did stick with it, and there are times where it does pick up a little bit and get a little bit better, but overall I just wasn't super, like I said, I guess I feel like engaged is the best way to put it. I just wasn't like invested in what was going on.
I mean, there was definitely times, and thankfully they were largely brief, where it came to a screeching halt and I was on my phone. Mm-hmm. But that was not the majority of the movie. So to me, that's engagement, because I did want to know what was going to happen next. Like, I wasn't sitting on the edge of my seat by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. But I was curious to see where it was going to go.
I didn't find that that there was much of a mystery.
I mean, I thought they did a bait and switch, because they present one mystery to you and then realize that the other mystery that comes up that you think is just going to be kind of a frivolity is actually what the movie's about.
Yeah, and I think maybe what bothered me about that is this is the same night that I watched that Walking Dead episode, and I was like, oh, the first mystery is your franchise mystery. Great.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be a franchise.
I will confess that I actually probably would have even bumped this to a 7, but the last 10 minutes of the movie really pissed me off. Because well, I guess we can wait till spoilers.
Sure. I will be curious to see, like, so as far, let's clarify something on the rating here. I'm not in complete disagreement. I think the 6.5 is a fair enough grade to give it. My biggest thing is I don't think that I'll give something over a 5 if I truly will not rewatch it again.
No, this is the type of thing that if it was, well, it's like a Netflix movie, right? But like, in a world in which it existed,
in a world in which Netflix movies just play, which is coming.
Yeah, well, they already do, I suppose. But in a world in which this was syndicated or in any way, shape, or form, like it popped up on TBS or HBO or whatever, and I was flipping through looking for something to watch, I would watch this again.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't think that I would. I'm just uninterested.
This would instantly leap over The Walking Dead as far as background material.
That is fair. Okay, fair. If we're comparing it against other things, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So, like that's where I think you have to kind of grade it for, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't a sloppily made movie. It was actually pretty tight at places. I really found there were some clever little things that without them, this movie absolutely would have started to tumble to like a 5 or something, because I would have been super bored. But there was some fun, clever little rewinds. Like, let's look at that again from this perspective now. Hey, let's flash back to that. Hey, let's present this in this way. Like, we're reading out of a book, or she's giving this sort of like list of things, or how she's going through her thought process. It was enough to break up the pacing to keep you honest.
Sure.
Otherwise, this movie absolutely would have been a slog. But you can't hold that against them. It's a positive. It's a credit to them that they did do those things, whether it be as their saving grace, or, is it like feature or bug type of thing, but in the reverse? Like, is it something that we're going to give them a pass for because of it, or appreciate the fact that they built it in there on purpose? Like,
yeah, I will say there's a couple of things here that I think specifically that, like, if they had tweaked it maybe even just a little bit, that could have easily raised the score for me. The first being that the mystery wasn't buried enough. I feel like it was a little bit too obvious.
Okay.
Of which we can get into the spoilers of that soon. But you had mentioned there's a bait and switch. Completely agree. That's true. It does that is the thing that is like the twist, right? Is the fact that what we think we're going to be chasing in the movie is not the thing that we're chasing. That's your twist, which is not that much of a twist. But the thing that we end up going after is not concealed very well. I don't think, at least. Well,
I guess we might as well just get to spoilers if we're going to talk about a mystery.
Okay, so before we get to that, then, one of the things that I think hurts the movie is that so we have this established film version of Sherlock Holmes, right? That has happened already.
Well, it's the one that's in our public lexicon, but there's been a million takes on the character.
Sure, but the common current generation is the Robert Downey Jr. style Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that from the get-go, they are trying to show you that the Sherlock in this movie is not that one.
Yes.
He's a lot more grounded in emotion, even though he's not super emotional, but he's not Tony Stark, the Sherlock Holmes. he's a little bit different.
Well, you know what he is he. I think the word grounded is the best way to do it, is because he's, while very austere, he is a human Sherlock Holmes, and most readings of the character trend towards like autistic, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And this Sherlock doesn't seem to be that. He just seems to be a very gruff, like austere, like at arm's length type of person.
Sure. And I think what's interesting is like they're telling you that at face value, right? That he's a different kind. We're showing you this version of him. However, they're doing something. There's something with the music, the camera work, and the storytelling that is very much directly related to the design language of the Sherlock Holmes movies, where movie is very different.
There's a big help in that the color palette is wildly different.
Yeah, I don't know. It's wildly
to the point
different.
That like this one has colors.
Yeah, but it's Netflix blue tint. It's
well, for some of it, yes, but like you see blades of grass, you see the
that's fair. But like there's something about it though that it's not different enough. Like it doesn't ever feel different enough from those movies while it's trying to tell you that it is.
Well, the funny thing is they make Sherlock fairly different and then replace some of the core concepts of what made those movies, very specifically those movies, and they took the fighting thing and put it on Enola. Like, that unfortunately continues to draw you back to those movies.
Right. Which is just a little bit of a weird thing. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just something that I'm thinking about throughout the whole movie.
Well, it's a weird choice when most of the other choices would seem to try to distance you from those. Which actually, like, honestly, is probably the right call because you don't want to be just a pastiche of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But then you take this very central like thing that everyone associates with those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And you make it as part of this.
Yeah. And there's also the I had mentioned in my tweet length review, but like the winking and nodding to the camera. Those scenes I actually thought were great, and I thought that she handled them really well. There's one particular where her head is in a bucket and she's being drowned, and then she turns up and literally winks to the camera, and I was like, oh. That pulled me back into the movie because I just thought it was so well executed.
I thought that the fourth wall breaks were pretty good and also judicious enough where like they didn't do it nearly as much as like a Deadpool.
Sure, but they're like, we're gonna do it. Like this is how we're gonna be about this. But we're not gonna overuse it.
I appreciate that they used it probably just the right amount.
Yeah, I completely agree. There would be a difficult balance there of deciding like, should we do one here or not? Where like it's very noticeable that they do them, but it's also very noticeable that they don't overplay their hand, which is great. My one last pre-spoiler note here is about chemistry, and that is that I don't think that the romance chemistry that they set up was there. However, the sibling chemistry was spot on. I thought that was really good.
Well, it's a little weird, right? Because it feels like they're constantly toying with the idea of it's siblings / best friends. It's possibly romantic.
Oh, no. I mean, like, her relationship with Sherlock and Mycroft.
Oh, sorry.
That was spot on.
I thought that I thought we were talking about, like, the will they, won't they thing with...
No, that I just thought fell flat. I just thought that was not... I understand, like, we're talking about, like, a younger age, and, like, it's supposed to kind of be that way, but they never really seemed like they would ever click in that way.
Well, that's what I was getting at, too, was, like, they have a very delicate balance to strike where it's, like, if you go too far into it, it's, like, creepy.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. Yeah.
So they kind of do the will they, won't they, and it's at the end where it's like, okay, at this stage in the story, they're leaving child.
Yeah.
Where it can like start to be like, okay, we can start to seriously consider, and even then, it's very chaste. It's a kiss on the wrist,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I did actually like. You're right. The relationship with the brothers I thought was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I will say in this moment, I was constantly thrown off throughout the whole movie because I don't recall the lore. I've only actually read one Sherlock Holmes book. Loved it. Hounds of the Baskervilles. Mycroft isn't in that one.
Okay.
So I never knew who was supposed to be older. And then they were doing the whole thing where it's like my estate, my ward, and I was like, okay, so I guess Mycroft has to be older.
Right.
But something in the back of my head was working, like not like sitting right with the whole thing. And then at the end, Sherlock says something about older brother to him. He says, I'll buy you a drink to commiserate with you, older brother. And that's when it finally clicked with my head. I was like, I have to look this up because I'm 95% sure Henry Cavill's older than Sam Claflin, and he is 3 years older.
Nice. Oh, that's silly. I will say I never finished or like caught up. I don't know if it's still running, but I really enjoy the BBC Sherlock, and
that one I think is kind of like Philip Marlowe, in which there can be years between seasons.
Yeah, well, also each season is 3 episodes, and each episode is like an hour and a half.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they play like movies. It's pretty cool. It's great. It's a great show. It's really well done.
It's the type
great
of thing that
cast
I
of characters.
Would probably give a shot if I had some time. Which
I think you would tremendously enjoy it, especially Martin Freeman as Watson is just fantastic.
I love Benedict Cumberbatch and I love Martin Freeman. Wait, didn't we establish this last week or the week before that I am a Cumberbitch?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was your soulmate.
Yeah,
your British actor soulmate.
Yeah.
No, you are a Cumberbatch. But the Mycroft in the BBC, I really like that character in the BBC one.
Who plays him in that?
That's a good question. I recognize him.
Because if you want to talk about differentiation points, having Stephen Fry and having Sam Claflin play it were 2 wildly different takes on the character.
Yeah, Mark Gatiss.
The name doesn't sound familiar.
I don't know if you'd recognize him. Did you see? No, he was a voice in that. Yeah, maybe if you saw him, you might recognize him because he was very familiar when I saw him initially. But now when I do see him, I think of him as that, not from something else. So
okay,
but I like that. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was saying that as far as differentiation points between like this movie and the other one, like the Downey ones, having Stephen Fry versus Sam Claflin playing the Mycroft role, wildly different takes on the character.
But yeah, all right. So lifting the veil then. Spoilers from here on out.
Sure.
Okay, so it seemed like you might have been ready to disagree with me on like the mystery not being that deep.
Yeah, now I'm struggling to remember what I was just gonna say. Oh, what the idea that one of the family was trying to kill him, not in the least bit surprising.
Right.
Why, though, was what I found interesting.
Oh, interesting. There was an early nod to the House of Lords, and then there's the him explaining who he's going to be in the train car, and I was like, all right, I see where this is going.
I guess so. The thing is, I was caught up in the very heavy-handed talk about feminism and all of that, and I just assumed that storyline was going to go to the mother.
Gotcha. That was before they did the full-on switch that we're going after this. I see. That's fair. When we met
especially when you consider it looks like she's going to go full Guy Fawkes and try and blow up Parliament. It's like that. Yeah. It's like that's what they were setting up.
The only way they could have made that better with all the winking and nodding to the camera is if she pulled one of those masks out of like one of the boxes and like threw it over. Yeah. That would have been perfect.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, we see like an army of women learning how to fight jujitsu. We know she can. We know that there's a connection between those people. We know about the explosives. She finds a back alley factory of explosives that her mother was working on.
Mm-hmm.
We see the whole vote on Lords. You kept hearing like the narration of we're going to change the world, and women can be strong and independent. This and that. I'm like, okay, so this is going to go with her trying to blow up Parliament essentially, and try and change the world, and she's going to try and stop her, and then we're going to have the whole fight over whether she's doing the right thing for the wrong reasons and all that. And that's what it's going to be all about. So I largely just pushed the Viscount Tewksbury Marquez of Bell. I keep forgetting the last word is the one I always forget. I just assumed that was going to kind of be like, I knew it was going to end up taking on some sort of importance. I didn't know it was going to take on the full importance, and I didn't realize that the storyline was going to go to him and his vote, because I just assumed that storyline was reserved for the mother, because getting back to what I was saying super frustrated me about the final 10 minutes is I assumed that storyline was going to fucking pay off.
Oh.
The mother's storyline had nothing to do with anything.
No.
Like, that's actually insulting. Like, that part of it is actually insulting to the audience. Like, because, like, is what you were hinting at earlier, like, setting up, like, the mystery setting up for the franchise, like, which it is, but, like, it didn't even leave on a good cliffhanger if that's what you're going to do. That is a thing that irritates me till no end. And Brian and I have talked about this a bit with video games of, like, the pre-establishing that a thing is going to be a franchise. In my opinion, the stories are never tight. They never are like fully formed, because like your challenge.
Okay. That would not have been a franchise if it didn't work, though. They would have pulled the plug on that.
Always planned as a 3-part arc.
Okay. One example.
You said never. I said challenge.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's the rule. It is the exception. But
I will say, though, with Mass Effect, though, if for whatever reason the reception wasn't good, it was strong enough to stand on its own.
Well, that's my point, though, is you said they're never tight enough to stand on their own.
But
that
I bet you the reason why is that the story was formulated to work if the rest of it got scrapped.
Fine.
This is not formulated that way.
Sure. My point was, within that studio, Dragon Age was... I'm sure they had franchise as an idea, but they made Dragon Age Origins to be one story, then figured out how to continue the story.
Right, that's how
Mass Effect, they came up with a story, and they're like, oh, we have bigger plans for this. This is going to be a 3-part story. They may not have made the final 2 parts of it, but it was always written as chapter 1 of a 3-act story.
Sure, but executed in a way that it could have been closed out, where they've already been greenlit,
which is good writing.
Yeah, and then like using like just like relying on the fact that we can go into this later is garbage. It's just garbage writing. Really bothered me.
Depends on how you execute it, right? In this case, I agree. Terrible. Like they put so much time and effort into the first act of this movie, setting up how important the mother. And if you want to bait and switch that, fine. But then at the end, those two storylines have to dovetail, which is what I assumed that was going to happen. Because that was why I was distracted from like him being the deciding vote and all that. Was I assumed it was going to be he's going to the House of Lords to vote, she's going to blow it up, and Enola's got to find a way to reconcile both things. Nope.
Nope. She's just here again. Cool.
And then gone.
And then gone again. Yeah.
Didn't blow anything up. Didn't resolve anything. She's not going to come back and be mom anymore. But it also doesn't seem like she's going to continue on being militant either, because Enola did it for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what they set up, right? Like, she's going to be a militant, radical feminist who is going to... We're not going to ask nicely anymore. We're going to take it, right? We're going to force you to give us what we want. And then at the end, she just lays down her guns. But she's still going to go do work, but also not with you. Go be a nice little girl over there.
It seems like that the second movie is intended to go into like the conflict of Enola having to decide whether like it's her mom, but she probably needs to stop her, like kind of thing.
But it's weird because like it seems like she kind of was like, oh, I guess I don't have to do that anymore.
I know,
but then she's gonna go back to doing it.
It's right. It was dumb. There is
also, what is the likelihood that Helena Bonham Carter or Henry Cavill comes back to do another one of these movies.
Oh, I assume based on the writing that they are contractually obligated.
Yeah, I guess, but man, what are the chances either of those people comes back? And I can't figure out Henry Cavill. I've gone so far all over the map with that dude. Like, we've gone from trying to replace him in all things with Armie Hammer to he was probably perfect for this and Geralt of Rivia, so okay, fine, you can stay in those roles, but then Armie Hammer...
Maybe we replace him not in a non-Netflix situation.
Yeah, you know what? He actually was perfect for this role, and I finally figured out, like, his wheelhouse is he has to play people without emotions. Like, he isn't a good actor, but he can do that one thing.
Interesting.
Because even what's it called? Mission Impossible Fallout, he's playing a machine. He's playing a robot, essentially. He's playing the Terminator.
That robot
cast him
that
as the next
reloads his
Terminator.
arms.
Yeah, he reloads his arms. Cast him as the next Terminator. That's what he can do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, let's get him in there.
Because he can't...
And you know who could play Kyle Reese? Is Armie Hammer. And he can hammer...
would be something.
Cavill.
He can hammer Cavill. Oh my god! If we win the lottery, we're making that movie, and he's hitting him with a fucking sledgehammer at some point in that movie.
That's when we hang it up, Al. We did it.
No, but seriously, like, Geralt of Rivia is not a real person. Like, he's not a person. He has no emotions. He's totally monotone at all times. This Sherlock is largely the same. He shows the glimpse of emotion, or just the fact that he can have it, but not express it. And just the same, he plays a killing machine in Mission Impossible. Like, that's all he can do.
Right.
Which I don't understand, because as a younger man, he was able to express emotion in Count of Monte Cristo.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll see him come around again. But a scene that I really enjoyed, when Enola sets off the explosives and runs away, a visually fantastic scene. With the explosions and the fireworks, because of like the explosives that they are, like, that was a really cool scene and it looked fantastic.
It's nice to see a Netflix movie with decent CGI, because this was way better than the spiders from last week.
Oh. The spider ball?
Yeah.
100%. That's far better than that nightmare fuel. God. So when she blows up that building, she's of course fighting the Weasel from The Dark Knight Rises.
Wait, hang on. Can we just back up for 1 second? The Weasel from everything. Bern Gorman always plays a Weasel.
The Weasel Man?
It's all he knows how to do. He always plays a scumbag.
The original Weasley? The Weasley?
Wait, was he in a Harry Potter? He might have been. Was he a Death Eater?
Let's find out.
Maybe I just want him to be.
You probably just want him to be.
He was a scumbag in Game of Thrones. He was a scumbag in The Dark Knight Rises. He was a scumbag in... I'm sure I'll think of something the longer I think of it. Was he a scumbag in that the spy show on AMC? He looked like it, or maybe it's just because that's his voice and his face.
Probably.
I saw him in something else in the last couple of years. I can't think of what now.
What else is he in here? Sorry, I'm still trying to find out if he was in a Harry Potter movie. He's been in some stuff.
I know. And he's always a bad guy.
He's not. Was he the one that? No, he didn't scream post-mortem. That was the other. That was Ben Mendelsohn.
Yes. He was in that scene.
Yeah. God. Anyway.
Oh my God, that's what I saw him in recently. I totally forgot he was in the new season on Amazon of The Expanse. Guess what? Played a scumbag.
So, in a movie that is very clearly PG-13, like this whole movie is very clearly PG-13, when she gets him in that leg lock thing and his head hits, I was like, oh, damn. I was like, that is R-rated.
Well, first of all, if she never did that and succeeded, I would have been so mad, because she kept doing it and failing like over and over again. Which obviously is the clear setup to the fact that she's going to do it. But yeah,
third time's the charm.
Expecting the violent smacking his head on that. Was it a Fabergé egg? Was that
No, but it sure looked like one. No, it was like the footing of like a fireplace or something.
Yeah,
like it is, but yeah,
by the way, I found something that Bern Gorman was not a total scumbag in. Still kind of scummy, but not like overt villain. He was in an episode of Always Sunny for Philadelphia. Totally forgot he was in it. He plays a doctor. The episode was called Flowers for Charlie. Did you ever read Flowers for Algernon when you were a kid?
No.
Super fucking depressing. They should not have let 6th grade us read that. They let us read an abridged version of it. You know, sometimes when you're a kid, you get like an abridged version of the book. And it's like,
100%.
Let's take this way too adult thing out of it and give you like the things. So the book was about the scientists who were studying behavior in mice, and they come up with some sort of like serum to make them super smart.
Okay.
And they decide they're going to do human tests with it, and they're going to use it on a man who is, I believe at the time they probably called him Simple or something like that.
Sure.
Not Simple Jack levels of Simple, but Lenny without the murder. Without the murder is what we'll say. And they do, and so the whole thing, I think if I remember correctly, and again, I didn't read the whole book because they didn't let us, they give it to him, he becomes brilliant, but then the trial ends, and they stop giving it to him, and then he becomes not smart anymore. Okay. Also, I think it might have given him cancer, and also the mouse cancer. Don't 100% remember that. So, like I said, super depressing. So they did that in an episode of Always Sunny, and they give the serum to Charlie, and he becomes brilliant. But then you find out at the end of the episode that they gave him a placebo, and all the things you think he's doing brilliantly, he's just totally BSing, and everyone else is going along with it to see if it wasn't actually a test of his intelligence. It was a test of if someone's confidence improves when they think they're smart.
Oh, man.
It's actually literally a study of the Dunning-Kruger effect.
the Dunning-Kruger?
Not the Dunning-Kruger effect, the Dunning-Kruger effect. And Bern Gorman is the doctor who's running the experiment. So that whole thing is a little scummy, but he's not actually like an overt villain in it. Because like he's just trying to study this whole thing, and Charlie is, of course, stupid enough to go along with it.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. That show is ridiculous. I had mentioned earlier that like probably my favorite part of the movie was the wink in the bucket. That was that really did that got me, that hooked me back in, which was like right around the halfway mark probably. And I will point this under. I had this under conversation starters, but maybe my least favorite moment. Something that it made super clear to me happens way too often in movies. People fall hard on stone ground and have no bruises to show for it. And it's just like, as a kid, I tripped slightly on an upgrade and like my 2 front teeth turned black. Like it was.
You knocked your 2 front teeth out too?
No, they just turned black. They didn't fall out.
Oh.
Yeah, they healed.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
You can bruise your teeth?
Yeah, apparently.
I never knew.
It was unsettling.
Well, I mean, because obviously, as you well know, I fell down the stairs as a kid and knocked my 2 front
You
teeth
sure
out.
did. He just wanted to say Sister Susie sitting on a thistle for years and he couldn't do it.
No, but it was made perfect for me that I could sing All I Want for Christmas is My 2 Front Teeth.
That's right, forever.
For like 6 years.
Bang! Yeah, but seriously, like she straight up eats shit on a cobblestone street and nothing. Not even a bruise. And then it dawned on me, I was like, how often did this happen? And then like people are getting thrown around in the movie, like a lot, like into walls. And I never really paid that close attention to it. But they're generally fine. And I know it would probably be annoying storytelling to have them hold their back or something as they stand up or like have bruises everywhere. But it's just like very unrealistic at times.
No, you know what? I'm actually on board with this. We need to demand more of our making. Like, not just like a movie in which like it takes place over the course of the day. Because you do see that every once in a while, right? Where it's like a movie takes place over the course of a day and like they're progressively more beat up as it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
This movie takes place over the course of like a week or two. Well, most of it does, because then it was never clear how long she was at the finishing school, but obviously it was some time.
Sure.
We need to do like, oh, this movie takes place over the course of a couple of days. No, you get punched in the face, black eye.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what? That's our new mission as a podcast is black guy accountability. And that's going to be what we're going to check in on once an episode. I'm putting it in the notes now. Black eye accountability.
I just want to stress that Anthony's saying black eye and not black guy.
That's right. Thanks for clarifying. All right, I'm putting this in here. Do you want to? Is there a better name for the segment?
Black Eye Watch. That's
black.
The watching of eyes that are black. No, not better. Bruise counter.
Bruise counter. Bruised. I don't know. Bruised question mark is what I have on it.
The peach meter. How bruised is this peach?
Oh my god, that's actually pretty great. Well, we might think of something.
I can eat a peach for hours.
We're gonna do. Nope, that's not it.
You got me to react viscerally to that when we did Face Off. It was my turn to get you.
That's right. I think I actually got you on that like last week in a completely unrelated.
We definitely brought it up again. Was it last week? I don't remember.
All right. Black eye accountability for now. If we come up with something else, we'll change it. But we're gonna have to keep note of this because I am curious. But anyway, just something that I noticed this time around and I've watched a lot of movies and it's never bothered me before. But I was like,
reminding me of last week's Archer, in which Archer comes into the office and I'm just gonna come out and say it. Barry's there, and he starts opening fire, and they're like, "Can you please stop shooting at Barry?" And the spoiler alert: Barry is now a friend of ISIS. Well, I guess they're not ISIS anymore. They don't have a name technically. And he is a part of their organization. This happened during the course of Archer's coma.
Okay.
And so after everyone dusts off, you see Cheryl is bleeding from her leg. You're like, oh, you got caught by a stray. And she goes, excuse me, that's a pre-existing condition. So we need that sort of accountability. She came into the office already having been shot.
Awesome.
Keep track of these things.
That's great. That's pre-existing conditions. Is that the name of our segment?
Okay. I could work with that.
Oh man, yeah. No, I mean, you know what it is? People hit the ground real hard at this movie. I think that's why I took note of it. Like 2 young people jump off a train.
Actually, if we're gonna go with pre-existing conditions here, Bern Gorman pulls out a garrote, chokes the ever-living shit out of the Viscount of Tewkesbury titles, and
sure,
there's no mark on his neck after it's all said.
That's correct.
And if anyone knows anything about that, the grotesque ligature marks that would be left on your neck, even in an unsuccessful garroting, is going to be hideous for probably ever, but for certain weeks.
Yeah. It's why has this never been a thing that I noticed though? Are other movies actually doing it well?
No.
Okay.
Most of them are not.
Okay.
Right. Like I said, there's every once in a while you get the gritty storyline where they're going to keep track of it, but it's it's always over the course of a day type movie. Like think of something like Free Fire, where it's which featured Armie Hammer, of course.
That's right.
The beginning, they're all clean cut and nice, and then by the end, they're falling apart. But it's different because that takes place over the course of a couple hours, and the whole entire movie takes place in that room.
Yeah, right. And then you get something like Batman, and Christian Bale takes off his armor, and he is bruised head to toe. There is not.
And then tomorrow he's not.
Yeah. No, he is. He's bruised. Sorry, he's bruised neck to toe, and in the next scene, he is covered neck to toe.
Yeah, but my point is there's no ill effects of it later in the movie.
Yeah. And that's true. I do realize that it could get annoying and difficult and maybe not actually entertaining to watch.
You know what? Life is annoying and difficult and not always entertaining.
That's sure, but I'm at the movies right now.
Well, my point is suspension of disbelief is required for certain things, but there's certain things that we can establish, let's take a Nolan movie, Interstellar. We have things that we think we're really good on the science, right? But we don't know, right? Look, it's all theory, theory of relativity and all that, time dilation and all that sort of stuff. So we will allow a certain suspension of disbelief for all of that because from what we know of the math, it's sound, if not 100% factual. But if someone falls off a cliff in that movie,
It hurts.
you expect them to be fucking bruised for the rest of the movie.
Or some passage of time to happen.
You know what I mean? An acceptable passage of time.
Yeah. Just acknowledge it. Is really what we're getting at.
even just one scene, someone gets up out of bed and they wince as they grab their ribs because they fell off a fucking cliff. Like, okay, done.
Yeah.
Box checked.
Yeah, you're right.
You got brutally beaten, and then the storyline takes place like 3 days later.
That's right. Yeah, bruises. Take a nap. Go into a coma for a year. Get yourself into a back to tank. Do something. Get us back. Just get us back. What else you got on this, Gem?
I'm still thrown by the whole Helena Bonham Carter thing and that whole storyline. I'm thrown by having her in the movie to narrate 4 lines and then
hey
4 lines.
She's not only in this movie. This movie is with her.
Wait, no. Was it with her or was it and her? It was with her and Henry Cavill.
It's with Henry Cavill. Cavill? You just said Cavill, and that actually threw me off. Isn't it Henry Cavill?
I thought it was Cavill, but maybe it's Cavill. We've said it both ways.
It's with Henry Cavill and Helena Bonham Carter.
Okay, so it's not with her, it's and her.
It's and her. That's right, sorry. This movie is and her.
I couldn't remember which one was which.
I went through that whole thing of forgetting what that's all about and looked it up again, and it's like, just differentiate me from these others, please. I'm not the protagonist, but I am in this movie. And it is important that you know this.
Sam Claflin's gonna be like, motherfuckers.
Oh, but that's like when we were watching the previous season of Dexter, and every episode ended with Peter Weller. I was like, all right, we get like you should actually say with RoboCop because that's how we know you.
How wonderfully terrible was Peter Weller in that show?
He was pretty greatly terrible.
We got a Lumen Pierce. Stupid fucking name.
Oh man. So yes, with Henry Cavill and Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, no, I get why they chose, like, they always punch above their weight in that sort of movie. That's how you get an and.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but give me a little bit more and of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still just frustrated about that storyline. Like, what are we doing there exactly?
Yep. Hard to say.
Right?
Yeah.
I loved the old lady. I don't recall her name in the movie other than that she was the Dowager. I don't recall what her name is as an actress. She seemed familiar, but I'm too lazy to look it up. She was great, though, playing the, like, very matriarchal old lady who seems like she's, like stern and regal, but possibly slightly, like, loving, and then it's, oh no, she's going to shoot the shit out of her grandson.
Frances de la Tour.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, though.
Yeah. She blasted him. She got him good with that shotgun.
She blasted him. Also, challenge. How did he get that suit of armor under his suit?
Yeah.
In the middle of the fight? Under his suit.
Yeah, but thank God we addressed that. You know, honestly, it would have been on par if he just got up with no explanation.
I thought that's what they were going to do, and then it's like, nope, somehow managed to stuff this thing under his shirt.
That's right.
Middle of a shootout, and then having been choked, and we never hear clang as he falls on his stomach.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would assume, my assumption is that it was in there, obviously, prior to this whole situation.
No. He took it off when Bern Gorman is shooting up the statues and the suits of armor because he throws it back into the pile of the suit of armor that had been shot down. While he was shooting, she jumps and attacks him. He shoved it up his shirt. Then she gets cracked upside the head. Bern Gorman starts choking the shit out of him. And then he gets shot.
Gotcha. You know what else? He certainly does not have any bruises on his chest.
Well, you know what? No. Fair enough. Because it was a shotgun shell. It could have been bird shot. That would not have penetrated the thing.
I think it was based on the number of dots in the armor.
So it wouldn't have dented it that deeply. He wouldn't have necessarily had a bruise there. I'm willing to give him that one.
But his back would have probably been
totally
thrown
unblemished.
out. Yeah, that's fair. Garbage. Absolutely garbage.
You know what? Actually, this was a good movie for cranky old ladies because the headmistress, tremendous.
Yeah.
That whole storyline was entertaining, despite how horrible it was. I wanted to smack the shit out of Mycroft every time he opened his stupid mustachioed mouth.
Yeah.
What was going on with that mustache?
I don't know. Honestly, the best thing about that was the caricature of him that we got throughout the movie.
Oh, tremendous! Two of them, both of them, right?
Yeah, that's true. Him and Aunt Petunia. It was.
She
great.
was reminiscent of Aunt Petunia.
Wasn't it her?
Oh, was it?
I don't know. I thought it was.
It's funny because she was throwing off McGonagall vibes, even though I know it wasn't her.
It is Aunt Petunia.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Fiona Shaw. Miss Harrison.
I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah.
That's funny, but that whole... It's funny because she is Aunt Petunia, but I was getting McGonagall the whole time. Like, I knew it wasn't Maggie Smith, but still.
Sure. I vamp for a moment because I have to check to see whether or not she was in something else real quick.
Yeah, no, I just found that whole storyline, like, just actually, like, the interplay between her and Enola was pretty great at times, both when there was, like, entertaining stuff and when it was dark. I'm really creeped out and confused by the whole thing with her and Mycroft. I'm not sure what was going on there.
I did find what I was looking for.
Okay.
To be clear, she was also in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
What?
She was the one with the crazy hair. She stuck the weird...
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, that's because we still have to bring that movie back.
Yes, I thought we were doing that for our first bad movie night with Flix sponsoring.
That's right.
Which we'll get to in these years.
Man, that movie did get a full theatrical release.
It sure did.
Oh, that's great. But yes, she was in that. That whole thing was weird. And when she opens the chest, I was like, and the way that she was excited, I was like, what do you want to be in here?
That's what I'm saying. I'm so confused by that relationship because it was weird. Like,
was it like he also like was taught by her and like not? No,
she teaches women.
I know, but like in like a one-on-one situation, and then maybe she like taught him to be a man. Like that was like the creepy vibe they were giving.
Robinson situation.
What'd you say?
So this is like a Mrs. Robinson situation.
Cuckoo could oh man.
Yeah, no, it was
weird.
There was clear tension there, clear sexual tension there.
Oh, 100%.
There was a few times where she makes these faces when either talking to him or talking of him, and I didn't like it at all.
No.
The mustache on Mycroft creeped me out the whole time because I'm just assuming it was there to hide the fact that Sam Claflin is younger than Henry Cavill and Henry Cavill. He was such a douchebag.
Oh yeah, the tremendous douche.
Like 100% of the time.
He sucked.
Right?
She is my ward. I was like, punch this man in the face.
Well, I didn't understand the insistence either. Like, he clearly doesn't want to be her ward. So, oh, Sherlock, you're volunteering? Please.
Yeah. Also, that whole thing of like, finding mother's your job. And it's like, okay, first off, bite me.
Yeah.
Second off, obviously, I'm going to find mother. I'm the detective.
No, but like, since when is he employed by him?
Right.
Like, this isn't like brotherly argument. This is master and apprentice like relationship here, and like they're at most a couple of years apart in age, and in real life in the negative direction to how they are.
That's right.
Still thrown by this every time.
Blown away. He is blown away.
I don't understand what's going on there.
Oh man, you know what's another thing that was a little bit odd about this is the forced inclusion of Lestrade.
Is he an established character of the Holmes universe?
Yes, he is. Okay. He's usually the cop that is usually the head of the police, or like close to, or like almost like a captain style that was Sherlock is doing his dealings with, basically.
Was he Eddie Marsan in the Downey Jr. ones?
The name's not familiar, so give me a second and I will look it up for you.
You know Eddie Marsan. He's the guy who gets his hands cut off in Hitchcock. He's in The World's End.
Yes. Let's see. No, Rupert Graves. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the one from the BBC one. Who I remember. Yes, Eddie. Yes, that is him, Inspector. Yep.
Oh, so he's that character.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like I understand like the only pointed scene to bring him in was for like the just like like this the Sherlock Holmes universe, so we have to have every character, but you don't have to have every character. He didn't really add much to it.
Well, no, he was the methodology by which they ultimately capture her.
Sure.
It's like they don't go into his full backstory or anything. Like, he could be any Scotland Yard guy that both of them are acquainted with.
Mm-hmm.
And so why not just use the name of the character who you already know?
It was just, I feel like it was the way that they did it where it was like, let's have this quiz situation so that yes, this is 100% the other guy that you know from the Sherlock universe.
Well, the funny thing is, for like me, not knowing that character was like actually an important Holmes verse character was an entry to me to question whether or not he was who he said he was, which was a little bit intriguing. And if you knew it, then it's like, okay, well, this is why he would know all these things.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's fair.
I did think that whole quiz thing was pretty entertaining, especially when he throws out, why are all your questions
why are they food related? Yeah. Oh, man. That was silly. Yeah. Any other notes on this bad boy? On this bad rider?
Not anything else too important, I don't think.
All right. Well, it was. I had more fun talking about it with you than I did watching it.
I just thought it was overall like a fun movie, like not something that you're going to write home about, not something you're going to be like rushing to the TV to watch, but I thought it was fun. It was entertaining. It was, like I said, it was light. It was easy.
It was there.
Yeah.
That's how it was just there.
I mean, that's fine.
Well, that's all for this week's episode of Flix in the Six. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have a movie for us to review or nuggets for us to discuss, you can send those requests to flixinasix@thespintune.com or tweet us at thespintune. Tune in next week for more movie and beer goodness. Until then, I'm Anthony Costanzo.
I'm Al Bielsi.
Thanks for coming out.